GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to boldly go where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
And Jolan True Citizens, welcome to this G&T show supplemental log. I'm Gettysburg 7. There he is to my right, your left. He's in a tuxedo tonight because we're very excited about our guest. It's Ceridium.
Bada boom, bada bang.
There you go. There you go.
And sexy.
Terry is not here right now. She had some car trouble, but she will be joining us. And our guest, we're just going to dive into it because we are very excited. How excited? I'm not watching The Flash tonight, which she's been on. As you all know, one of my scheduled appointment shows. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Chase Masterson.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Oh, it's our pleasure. How are you?
I'm good, but you should be watching The Flash. You know, it's a fantastic show.
I love it. It is one of the shows that I schedule my life around, and that sounds really sad to say out loud.
Indeed, indeed. And once all together, we should say an aw for Terry, who's having car trouble. Aw, Terry. Hope you're okay out there.
Hopefully staying warm.
When you were on The Flash, so what was that show? What was that set and crew like for The Flash? I've got to ask.
Oh my gosh, it was fantastic. You know, some shows have a family atmosphere that is just unbeatable, and it's one of the best things about doing this for a living. I mean, it really is. The colleague feeling, the family, that's all, the only way I can really describe it. They were really a cool bunch of people, a team that really loves each other, and to come into that as a guest star and be welcomed and have a friendly rapport, it's just the best feeling. It's not always like that, you know. There's a lot of times when you go into a show and there's a kind of a, oh, you're the new girl, hi, kind of feeling, you know, and that could be for a lot of reasons. They could be working, you know, heavily on their own stuff and just focused, but it sure does help when people are as nice as the Flash team, and they were.
Right on.
Yeah. Jesse Martin is lovely. Carlos is fantastic. Go on, sorry.
No, and I was going to say, he is. I loved him on Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came on this show, I was so excited because he's one of those actors that has presence.
Yeah. He has heart, and really is, I think, one of the finest actors of our generation. I wish they gave Emmys to genre shows actors or genre shows for best drama, because I think truly the Flash, everyone there turns in incredible work. Yeah.
I think Flash and Arrow just have such a great synergy going too, and what they've built for such a small network, but a network that's become the genre home in many ways.
Yes, they are doing a lot for CW, which Greg Berlanti was already a part of. But Andrew Kreisberg coming in, Andrew is also one of the finest writers in television, and Gabrielle Stanton, who is running the show right now, because Andrew is busy with several shows, they're just really a fantastic team, partly because they love this genre so much. I don't know if you've seen Andrew Kreisberg's Twitter avatar, but it's a picture of him as a kid. He's probably 7 years old or 6 years old, and he's wearing a cape and he's playing. And you just know that these guys have loved this genre ever since before they can remember. And that's what makes these shows so powerful. They're not doing it for money or because it's cool or the big thing right now. They're doing it because they always have. And on top of that, they understand story so well. They understand the themes of courage and risk and family and all of those things that make these shows so powerful. That's what Andrew Kreisberg is doing. That's what Gab Stanton is doing. Mark Guggenheim also with Legends of Tomorrow, and obviously Greg Berlanti, whose company it is. it's beautiful work.
Right on. So, one last question about Flash before we move on. Do you any plans for you to go back to the Flash or make an appearance in one of the other DC shows that are going on concurrently?
Thanks for asking. We've had a lot of requests like that, and I'm happy to say I hope so. That's all I'll say right now. I've heard it will happen or it can happen. You never know what the team is going to decide, but I've heard there are different ways that they might be feeding Sherry back in. Sherry, like the drink. And,
Very cool.
Sherry's got a fun kind of playfulness and also a mystery about her that I think they could go several different ways with. And all I can say is it'll be nice if they do. I love working with that team.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Now,
okay.
You, of course,
go ahead.
You, of course, are most famous to our audience because of Lita. And and there's several things I wanted to... Now, I am the guy who... Deep Space Nine, and Mike will tell you it's not just because you're on. That is my ultimate Star Trek series. Elam Garak is my favorite character in all of Trek. Aaron Eisenberg and you and Max together were magic.
Thank you. It felt like magic, and to be talking about it so many years later, I guess it was.
And one of the great things I think about Deep Space Nine is characters like Lita and Rom and Nog, who were not main title characters. We feel, we got to know as well as any of the main characters.
Yes.
And so how did you get involved in Deep Space Nine, and what was it like as Lita continued to grow season after season?
It was wonderful. I'll tell you how I got on the show, which is a pretty amazing situation. The role was written for me, and the role on The Flash also was written for me by Andrew Kreisberg. This role was written, Lita was written for me by Renee Echevarria. And how that came about,
very cool.
How that came about was I did a $30 pay-to-meet showcase, and I was auditioning for the role of Marta, who played opposite Jake in the second season.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Bajoran Dabo girl that flirted with Jake. And we got down to the final two, and Avery said something about, she can't be with my son. She's a woman. She's too sexy or something like that.
He was so protective of Serac, wasn't he?
Indeed he was, yes. And so they went with the other girl, and then they wrote the role of Lita for me.
And you ended up with Bashir not very long after that, didn't you?
Not long after that, no. They did work with me, with Bashir and Lita. But they decided fairly early in that relationship that they would go ahead and have Lita make the decision to drop the cute doctor with the British accent and go for the guy who was only pretty on the inside. And it's a very Star Trek decision. I'm so glad they did that, because Lita and Rom did have magic. We had love that was unconditional, and we had an incredible romance, and that's very rare to have a couple that's so in love that stays in love on television. Usually there's some form of cheating or alcoholism or some incredible trauma that separates them. And Ron and I were just in love. And what Ira told me during the 5th season of the show was, I want to show our audience that a couple can be happy and there can still be interesting storytelling.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I think that's a wonderful message. And so I always say, yes, Lita and Bashir were the Barbie and Ken of Star Trek, but Lita and Rom were the Lucy and Ricky, which is much more interesting.
I was going to say Rob and Laura.
Exactly. Oh, Rom.
Oh, that would have died. Oh, my God. That's my favorite sitcom of all time, so you doing that just made me laugh.
Thank you. I pretty much love it, too. I was watching some of it yesterday, so how funny is that? It
never gets old.
I know. I know.
And when they made it, Carl Reiner said, we're not going to put any current events things in it so that it always is fresh to people. And that is... That's why they never use any current... Like, hey, Doris Day film or anything. I think the
interesting.
I think the closest they came was when Fred Blassie was on.
That's so interesting. I never thought of it in that way, but now that rings true. Well, my main reason for watching is I'd really like to marry Dick Van Dyke. So I figure I should know the episode.
I wanted to marry Mary Tyler Moore.
Well, doesn't everyone?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But Laura Petrie ruined, my relationships as an adult, because I was like, you're not Laura Petrie.
Oh, there is that. That's a tough one to follow.
And who would live next door to Jerry and Millie?
Oh, I know. Right. I know. Not many guys can stand up to Dick Van Dyke either, so don't worry.
Now, on Deep Space Nine, you're to me, the greatest episode, and it's very personal, and you know this, was It's Only a Paper Moon because of the dealing with PTSD.
Mm.
And how coming home from Iraq and watching it, and I was actually watching it while I was in Iraq, and going going through kind of what Nog was going through. You guys were so prescient when you filmed the war arc, considering what would happen just 8-10 years later.
Yes,
it was amazing.
It was amazing, and yet it's understandable from any standpoint of war or trauma. I mean, from any era of war or that kind of trauma. From soldiers in war, from parents who send their children into battle, from people who are civilians whose countries are attacked. It's incredibly traumatic, and the writers were really brave to confront it as boldly as they did, and really incredibly artful at the same time. Just the parallels, the allegories in Star Trek are beautiful, as you know. But yeah, I think every war that's ever existed has that kind of dynamic where our coping mechanisms as human beings only go so far, and we need somehow to retreat into something. And just as Nog retreated into the holosuite, that's happened with so many men and women into addiction, into depression, into all sorts of things that they try to use to cope with something that we should never have to cope with, which is violence. Mm-hmm. We're not meant as people. We're not built. Our brains are not set up. Our brains and hearts are not set up to deal with that kind of trauma. So, of course, Nog retreated. And I just want to say I am so sorry that happened with you, and I understand to whatever extent I can how that must have been.
And when you got the script for Paper Moon, and you read it, what was your reaction seeing that they were building a whole show around James Darren and Aaron Eisenberg, because that was really for the most part a two-man show. Yeah.
I was really happy to see it because Nog deserved it. Nog as a character did. And that's separate from Aaron deserving it, which Aaron also did. But really Nog did. And they should look at how it is on a young boy who has this kind of trauma and this type of loss. This kind of physical trauma and loss. And I was just really happy that they were so bold and open about it. But of course, this is Ira Behr and Ron Moore and Renee and David Weddle and Bradley Thompson and Hans Beimler, and that's what they do. They write beautiful, bold work.
And you mentioned earlier about genre shows not being nominated. That was definitely one. And Mike, help me out. The one with I Can Live With It.
Pale Moonlight.
Yeah, In a Pale Moonlight. Definitely were ones that should have been nominated. Why do you think the industry doesn't recognize genre shows that stand out like that?
I can't understand it at all myself. The only thing I can piece together is that they don't see them as real as they are. That the Academy doesn't have that kind of
imagination.
Imagination, a really creative mind to be able to say this is beautiful if it takes place in another realm, another dimension, on another planet. They, for some reason, the only kind of realism they'll accept is either in the present or the past. It's interesting that the past is okay, but somehow the future is not. And I don't know what kind of snobbery that is. I think it's incredibly short-sighted.
Agreed.
But what can we do? We can just keep doing the work and know that, my God, I'd rather be part of a show with this kind of fan base than an Emmy Award-winning show, that doesn't say as much.
Yeah.
It's about what your audience takes away from it. And Star Trek fans really live and breathe by these concepts and these themes. These are important things we're saying to our audience. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. They can have it. I think we've got more than enough.
Well, last time we saw Lita, she was she was obviously married to Rom, who was becoming the Grand Nagus. We have also, before that, we had seen, we got a hint at who Lita was in the Mirror Universe, which is, we're kind of leaning towards Stowe now. How is, because you only played that version of Lita once.
Yes.
How easy or how difficult was it to step back into that character after so long and only doing it for such a short time, if that makes sense?
It was really cool, I have to say. It's interesting to me that Mirror Leader was an incredibly popular character for only having been in one episode. We got a huge amount of feedback on that episode in a good way, very positive way. And I think it's because Lita is so inordinately good as a character in real life that to see Mirror Lita so ballsy and brash and bad and, Lita's going to hook up with Ezri or whatever it is that's going on. People were just really talking about that a lot. And okay, but where we go with Lita in Star Trek Online is even more brazen. I mean, this Lita, Mirror Lita would eat I'm telling you, Mirror Lita would eat the Borg Queen for breakfast. Really?
On the 24-hour episode, our fundraiser we did, I said I couldn't believe just the joy and the pure evil when you're saying, I'll be back and you haven't beaten me this time, and your line readings are, oh my God, how much fun were you having?
Oh, thank you. It was a blast, I have to say. It was really fun. You've got to be able to ground that, though. You can't just be like, wah, 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 evil. I mean, Lita has this incredible passion and drive to be the most powerful being in the universe. And she'll stop at nothing. That's her only value. And as an actor, you have to know that comes from a lot of different places. It comes from there's a bold fearlessness, there's a, brazen confidence. Deep down, there's also an incredible insecurity, because anybody who wants to be that much in charge knows very deep down that she isn't. Mm-hmm. And so she's constantly trying to make sure she never has to think about that on any level. Just drive those thoughts out. Bam, I'm here. I'm in charge. Sit down. And it's so much fun to be that girl, especially when it's not what your audience is expecting.
I definitely got the feel that was kind of her ultimate goal, essentially. What was, the domination and power. What I kind of was surprised was that she retained the admiral or the captain and the admiral rank rather than going with something, you know, more fitting of what her ambition is, which would be Empress.
Just
Empress
wait,
of the
honey.
Galaxy.
Just wait.
Oh.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything that's going to happen. I haven't been told anything about future seasons, but I would put nothing past Lita. I mean, she's here to stay, taking no prisoners. You're mine. And you're mine on whatever level I want you to be.
Okay.
That's
I mean,
totally
yes,
cool.
ma'am.
Yeah.
What did you think the first time you saw the rendering of Mirror Lita, the Admiral Lita? Because we were blown away. We talked about it on the show. It was like, wow.
First of all, I want to know where she shops because
I know, right?
I have to have one of those outfits. Yes.
Did you wear it at the convention?
I think we all should. I think we should all go to Star Trek 50 as Mirror Lita.
Now that'd be fun.
Right? Yeah, I mean, because what good is it dominating a universe if you can't do it in thigh-high boots and shorts? I mean, that's the bottom line for me. Yes. No, I love the look of Mirror Lita. She is bold, brazen, extremely feminine, and also extremely in charge. And there's no one who can say otherwise. And being as how she'll stop at nothing, I mean, obviously, Lita uses her looks to her advantage. You know, I mean, Lita
It's another weapon in her toolkit.
Absolutely. And Lita, the real Lita, was always extremely demure and frankly modest. I mean, that was one of the first things
she was rabble-rousing for a union.
Well, no, but I mean, in terms of real Lita's physicality, she was always rather demurely dressed for a Dabo girl, rather demurely behaving for a Dabo girl. There was, you know, nothing about her physicality that she really used much to her advantage because she was too good. Not like too good for that, but too good. You know, she was just a really nice person. Mirror Lita, not so much. Mirror Lita will use everything she's got.
Right on. Totally cool. Getting off the subject for a moment, you've also been involved with a lot of Star Trek fan productions, or are in the process of getting involved with some. Let's see, you were in.
I've done two. There's two.
Of Gods and Men, and then you're also set to appear in Star Trek Captain Pike?
Yes, yeah. Well, Gods and Men was the first one ever, and Tim was directing it, and that was the first thing that sold me on it, because Tim's been a very good friend for a long time. The second thing that sold me on it was an Orion slave girl. Who can refuse, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to, come on. If there's one other thing you want to do in Trek, it's to be an Orion slave girl. Admit it.
Mike has said he wants to be an Orion slave girl many times.
I'm telling you, I think we all do deep down. And so, of course I was going to do that. I'll tell you, there's a lot of great work being done in these fan films. I have such huge respect for what James Kerwin and Vic Mignogna and Vic's team are doing with Star Trek Online. I mean, whoops. Well, that was Freudian. That was subtle, too. With Star Trek Continues. Yeah, I mean, there's just...
Amazing.
It's fantastic work in every sense of the word. I think every one of those actors and obviously the cinematographer and the lighting and the whole design of the entire production is incredible, artful, and I hope they keep doing them. I was asked to do Captain Pike, and I agreed to do it because I'm getting to work opposite Ray Wise, who I think is a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
And just a real favorite. You know, he's got a great body of work behind him, and he's also got that kind of fun, interesting leading man thing to him. But I think he's a very generous actor. He's a lovely human being. I just met him once so far at a convention. We haven't shot yet. But, Yeah, I told them I'd do that if I can play opposite Ray Weiss, and Bing, they made it happen. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And for those that don't know, Chase is not the only alumnus. Linda Park, of course, Empress Hoshi Sato. I always say Empress. I never go by
Prime Universe.
Yeah, I always go with Empress Hoshi because that was so much fun. Robert Picardo, Walter Koenig, and just a great amount of personnel involved with this. And Ray Wise is. If our fans, if our fans, wow. Sorry, I just had a stroke. If you know who he is, you know him from RoboCop or X-Men First Class. There's a couple of different things our audience would know him from.
Yeah, and he's a really fine actor. So.
And Captain Pike is currently they have a Kickstarter that's running right now. So I'm excited about the project. I can't wait to see it. And if anyone wants to contribute to the Kickstarter, the link will be in the show notes.
Yeah, it's a good team. It's quality work.
Now I have to ask you. You've worked with a true legend, and I have to ask about it because I think you're the first person we've had on that I can ask this question.
Okay, wait, don't tell me, let me guess. Oh dear, a true legend.
This is in the pantheon of American cinema. This is a Mount Rushmore person.
Wow.
Are you talking about James Kerwin, the Honorable James Kerwin?
The Honorable James Kerwin, yes. No.
Who could it be? Wait, Morn? No.
Oh, you did.
I don't know. But yeah, there you go.
What was it like to work with Mel Brooks?
Oh, well, that's actually what I was thinking. And yes, it doesn't get any better. I have a wonderful story about that. May I share?
Please, because...
All right.
Just to be, for our audience that doesn't know, Robin Hood Men in Tights, which, Mel Brooks is such a, I can't, please go, because I love him so much.
He's unbelievable, and he was absolutely beyond lovely to me. It was crazy. So here's the story. It was a very early on in my career. I was very young, and I was auditioning for, this is almost one of my first auditions, and so I went in, and Mel was actually holding an open call. Not open call where anyone could go in, but he was just, the actors that they chose to go in were meeting him on a first meeting. This was not a callback, which is incredibly rare. So, for an icon like Mel Brooks, that's almost unheard of. Even for any director, they don't waste time on that kind of thing. But there was Mel right there in the room when you walk in. So we talked a little bit, and he, just said a few things, and I said a few things, and I think I made him laugh or something, and we had a really nice rapport. And I go home, and I get the call that I'm going to be Lady Godiva in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and I'm so excited. And then a few days later, I get this call that says, Chase, they wrote the role out. Just a change in the script. They wrote the role out, but they're going to look for something for you because Mel really liked you. So I'm thinking, oh, that's nice. Mel really liked me, but we're going to look for something for you is like the kiss of death. It's like, right, sure. And it might have been true, but I wasn't just going to take that chance. So I thought, how do I get to stay in this Mel Brooks movie? How do I get to be in it? I've got to be in this. So I thought, well, it's Robin Hood. So I wrote on this scroll, got this big scroll, went to Home Depot and got paper and dowels and tassels at this upholstery store and put the red tassels in the cording and made this really beautiful scroll and wrote in calligraphy, there once was an actress named Chase who had a quite pliable face. Lead supporting or bit, she was a sure hit. Mr. Brooks, you must find me a place.
Oh, my God.
Right? And I had it delivered to him. And, I thought, well, it's the only shot I got, You want to work with Mel Brooks, you got to make him laugh. And sure enough, they wrote the role in for me to play opposite Richard Lewis. And I actually had more lines than they left in. Can you imagine? Some of it got cut out. But, Mel was incredible to work with. He's just like, he's a scientist of comedy. Everything has to go exactly right and get, obviously everything was perfect. And then at the premiere, I walked into Kate Manalini restaurant, and there is Mel. He sees me, and he comes bopping over, like running like Mel Brooks runs. And he says to me, looking up, because I'm taller than him, he says, "Boobala, boobala, I got to tell you some bad news." And I go, "What, Mel?" He goes, "Boobala, we cut you out, but it's okay, because I left you in just a little bit so you can get paid." So you can get paid. It was fantastic. And, that's the story. I left in just a little bit. And the reason that they cut the lines is that I made some comment about Richard Lewis being a Fresh Prince or something. So they cut that out because they thought that sounded too much like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that was very dated. There you go.
That's a great story.
I love
right
Mel.
on.
Is Richard Lewis as neurotic in real life as what he acts like on stage?
I only worked with him really briefly. I wouldn't want to call another actor neurotic, but,
Okay, enough said.
Okay.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Mel Brooks is just, I saw his one-man show. They had done on HBO his one-man stage show talking about his life, and what I never realized he had served in World War II and all of those things. He's an amazing human. An amazing human being, I know, and really has contributed so much to American comedy, really, for so long. Yeah. He and Carl Reiner and Sid Caesar, and they go way back. But they're they're the last of that shows. Yeah, that era. Mm-hmm. Which, for those that don't know, Dick Van Dyke, based on Carl Reiner's working on your show of shows. Right. Interesting. That's right. I'd forgotten about that. Well, we've come full circle here, haven't we, on G&T? I know, right? Yeah. It helps that the things I know things about I can actually use on the podcast, because they really don't help in real life. Right. No, so this is good. So, gosh, I'm so excited about this fundraiser that Star Trek Online is doing. And yes, I would love to tell you guys more about it, unless you guys want to. Have you got the notes there? I mean, would you like to tell our audience about it? I'm looking for them right now, so just give me a moment. Well, tell them. While Mike does that, we'll vamp. No, I can tell you. I just was giving you the option. This is so exciting, guys. Please. Star Trek Online has climbed aboard fully in the most beautiful, enthusiastic way. Their team, without my asking, has offered to do a fundraiser for the Pop Culture Hero Coalition, which I founded. It's the first ever organization to make a stand against bullying, cyberbullying, racism, misogyny, and other forms of hate through pop culture. And we do this work in schools, in communities, and at Comic-Cons. And we are, again, the very first organization to ever use pop culture. So all of these fantastic, powerful themes in Star Trek of infinite diversity and infinite combination, those are the themes that we work with and that we talk to kids about. And we do it with allegory and parallel of Star Trek, Star Wars, the Avengers, all of these beautiful franchises that speak so beautifully of on-screen heroism. We do off-screen in real life. And it's incredible. It's so powerful. It's an organization that I founded in 2013 because I realized that no one had ever done an outreach against bullying in the pop culture world. So I partnered with two heroism experts. And one is Carrie Goldman, who is actually one of the foremost leaders in the fight against bullying. She's the author of a book called Bullied, What Every Parent, Teacher, and Kid Needs to Know About Ending the Cycle of Fear. And it's out through HarperCollins. It's won awards, major awards.
and like the Parents Gold Circle Award, that kind of thing. And Carrie is now one of the most sought-after speakers in the country. Matt Langdon is our other co-founder, and he is based in Australia and works all around the world as a leader in the global heroism movement. Basically, that's just about teaching people, leading people to be heroes in real life, because that's not something everybody learns at home. There are reasons that these stories ring so true in our hearts and that we keep them with us all our lives, and it's because we're meant to not only watch these things, but to do them. So that's what we're doing with the Coalition. And Star Trek Online has decided that they want to help. So they are, as of Thursday, releasing 2 ships that they will be selling online through groupies.com. The address is groupies.com/Star Trek Online. And there are 2 ships that you can use in the game. And all of the proceeds after Groupies will go to the Coalition.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, to support our work in schools. And we're not only working against bullying, but we're really, like I said, teaching kids how to do great things for the world, really looking at scientifically what causes people to do altruistic things and what are the reasons, what are the things that hold us back. So it's going to be, we really think that we can make a different kind of world happen if we start to do this kind of thing on a regular basis with young people. And also, healing people who have been bullied, and that need counseling. We work with clinical psychologists who talk with people about their pain, about what they've been through, and how they can heal. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
No.
Such a great cause.
Thank you.
I think we've all been through that at one point or another, where we have felt or been put in a position where we feel like we are less than because of the actions of a bully or someone who's been trying to tear us down rather than build us up. And it's important that we build each other up. And I think what you're doing is fantastic. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing and saying that.
And this is I won't. Well, so I'm 46 years old. So we were talking about you've been on Flash, and we talked about this is a golden time for heroes on television and in the theaters. I know you're 32, so you don't remember. But being a geek was something you got bullied for years, and now being a geek is it's the thing to be now.
Yeah,
geeks are ruling the world now.
Yeah, it's a lot better than it used to be. I mean.
So it's a great time to be able to draw from that pop culture, from comics and TV and movies, because there's so much available. I can't tell you how happy now. My first wife and I, our daughter is 12. I am so happy. Not only do I love the show Supergirl, because I just think they're knocking it out of the park, but now there's a female role model hero for young women to see on TV week after week. But you also mentioned something. That's a real problem. That is cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's horrible to see especially when you see a story where someone a teenager was cyberbullied to the point where they do something permanent, because it's unlike, I don't want to say unlike somebody just bullying you in school, which I'm not minimizing, but every time they turn on the computer or their phone, it's there.
Yeah.
And
there's no one in the room to protect them.
Right.
There's no one that they can really go to. It may be just before they go to sleep and they have to sit with that for the next 8 hours, or when they're feeling particularly low anyway and they're reaching out for help, and then someone says, well, why don't you just go kill yourself? And that is devastating to a person, and it is devastating the teen population. There are 4,000 teen suicides, which are largely attributable to cyberbullying each year.
Wow.
And for every one of those 4,000, there are approximately 100 attempts This is,
oh my God, wow.
This is an
That's
epidemic.
crazy.
It's horrific. And, you were right earlier when you were saying that it's a great time to be a geek. Obviously, the geeks will inherit the earth, and we already are. I mean, there's, a lot of power and a lot of community right now that there didn't used to be. But bullying is insidious, and it's everywhere. And it's not, it's not that easy to tell a too smart, socially awkward, little boy or girl, who's too shy to really reach out. It's okay because you're a geek, because we all like Superman too, or whatever. It doesn't help them like you think it would, unless you have people who are also saying, we love you. You're okay exactly as you are. You don't have to be or look like or act like or talk like these other kids. You are wonderful and cherishable. And nobody says you should be like anybody else. You're not okay because you're a geek. You're okay because you're you. And that's the message that we want to really get out there and teach people to understand. Being a geek is not just better because there's more of us. Being a geek is okay, and it always should have been, and so is being a non-geek. So is being every single person that everyone is. It's inclusivity.
It's okay to be yourself.
Yes, just to accept. And I don't even mean accept, and I personally hate the word tolerance. Tolerance to me sounds like, well, we'll tolerate you. No. This is not about that.
Yeah, we're putting up with you. Yeah.
No, this is cherishing. This is, oh my God, who made you? You are wonderful. Come over. Please be with us. We love you and want to know you and want you to know that we're here for you. And that's to the guy or girl in the corner of the lunchroom, and that's to the guy or girl in the corner of the internet. And even though geekdom is widespread, there are still many, many of those. Many of us. Because don't we all feel like that guy or girl sometimes?
Yes. And cyberbullying is even worse because, as a lot of us know, anything you put on the internet can never be removed. So...
Oops.
So whatever you say, whatever you do, whatever someone else says about you is going to be there forever, which sadly it puts a lot of pressure on these young kids, and it's better if we just don't say anything negative about another person.
Ever.
Build them up.
Yes.
Build them up. Treat them well, as you would like to be treated.
Absolutely. And then you realize, that the bullies are the ones that are really hurting. And hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. So you can look at someone who's hurting someone else and say, wow, they must be in a lot of pain. And it's not always easy to realize that in the moment if they're inflicting pain on you, but it is something that we teach toward healing, is that bullying is always about the bully and their pain and their fear and their insecurity and their need for some imaginary power that they feel.
Yeah.
It's never about the person. If someone calls you fatty and you weigh 600 pounds, them calling you fatty is not about you. I don't care if you weigh 800 pounds. It's not about you. It's about them and their pain and their aggression and where that's coming from and what makes them feel so powerless. So we take a look at that in the coalition too. And Carrie and Matt, who do this work in schools, do incredible work in social justice, in restorative justice, in making a classroom safe. If a kid's been a bully and you're in that classroom and you're going to have to be, like, for the next 12 years, what do you do? they deal with that at the root of the problem and find out what's going on in this kid's family where he feels the need to be so awful. Because if he's this awful now as a kindergartner, what is he going to be like if nobody stops him?
Yeah.
You know, and so this whole, all of this work is really life-changing. And to be able to present these concepts in a way that's fun and palatable and actually really, really, really fun and interesting for these kids. You know, I mean, in a nutshell, it's be an Avenger, don't be Ultron. You know, and that's something that everybody can relate to.
You know, locally we had around here, I don't know if you've heard of the WWE's Be a Star campaign.
I have.
And it was kind of, they had come around here, and to see like one of those men who are, you know, larger than life in some ways really are, talk about when they were bullied and what it did to them. You know, it's amazing how it reaches into someone and happened 30 years ago, and it's like it was yesterday.
Yes. That's one of the first questions that we ask at a panel. Carrie started asking this at our first panel. She said to the audience, Carrie's a co-founder, she said, how many of you guys were bullied 5 years ago? And all these hands, 5 years ago or less, all these hands. 10, lots of hands. 15, still lots of hands. 20, 25, 30, 35. How about 40 years ago? 45 years ago, how many of you were bullied? And hands are still up. And these are... It's something
that stays with you forever.
It does, because it feels like it's true. It's not true, but if it feels like it's true at such a vulnerable age, and you've never had anybody really, really assure you of your worth and your beauty and the fact that this was not about you to begin with, you know, we need to really train our minds to know what belongs to us and what doesn't. And if someone has bullied you, it doesn't belong to you. Just because they give it to you doesn't mean you need to take it, you know? So, I mean, there are all these concepts that, you know, and I'm not even one of the teachers. I'm facilitating this because I believe in this work. Carrie and Matt are really the experts, and we work with other experts too. Like I said, clinical psychologists that work, you know, psychology of Star Trek, psychology of Star Wars, putting these lessons together. But not to go on about it, but it's interesting back to what we were speaking about a little while ago about It's Only a Paper Moon. We have one clinical psychologist that works in depth with PTSD veterans, and she uses pop culture to do it. And it uses like stories of Batman, like how did Batman deal with his PTSD, and what was it that caused him to triumph over his pain, and, you know, probably never completely heal from it, but to move his life forward in a way that he could be a hero for other people. And yay, I mean, these lessons, these on-screen lessons can really happen in real life. So anyway, I couldn't be prouder of this work that we're doing. And I couldn't.
You have a website?
We do. It's popcultureherocoalition.com. popcultureherocoalition.com. And I want to say I couldn't be more grateful for the fact that Star Trek Online is doing this incredible work for us. Let me tell you a little bit about these ships that they're offering. You can donate $1 and receive one Tier 1 ship or shuttle, including a new exclusive Mirror Runabout. Okay. You can donate $10 and receive a Tier 6 3-ship package, including the new exclusive Tier 6 Mirror Guardian cruiser, the Command variant. And once we hit $25,000 in donations, which I think we will, everyone who donated will receive the new exclusive Holo Admiral Lita Bridge Officer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
And it's a gold quality BOF, so top of line.
It is. There she is in all her glory. So, yeah, thank you so much. So this will be live as of Thursday the 12th at 10 a.m. Again,
and it's groupies.com
groupies.com. Does everybody know where that is? Groupies, GROUPEES.com /Star Trek Online. So you donate
Very good.
Donate $1 and receive one ship or shuttle, including the new exclusive Mirror Runabout. Donate $10, which we would love you to do and which we'll put to great use, and you receive a Tier 6 3-ship package.
In the information packet that I have here, it says that there are a limited number of ships, and it's not time-based. It's based on the number of units they have available. So once they're sold out, they're gone. So we suggest you probably get yours quickly.
Now, I'm
Yes.
just going to ask that you say this. That you said this starts on the 12th, on November 12th. Now, is
Yep.
that?
Yes.
Do you know? Is it like a certain time that it starts?
Yes, live November 12th. That's this Thursday, November 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
11.
And yes, I do want to emphasize there's a limited number of...
I'm going to have to come home from work, sign in, get it, and then go, thank God I only live 5 minutes from where I work. So.
I think you should just call in sick, really.
No, I was out all last week. I had an infected wisdom tooth, so I can't do that.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. I do want to emphasize, though, there are a limited number of awards up for grabs, so make sure you get yours before it warps away. We're just really excited about our ongoing work. I just want to emphasize this money that you're buying these ships with, 100% of the profits is going to go to the coalition and to do this work that we're talking about in schools.
Such a great cause.
Thank you. It's pretty exciting.
And if you're a Stowe player, that's 3 ships for your Admiralty system. I'm just saying.
Well, it's one for each faction, according to my packet.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
It's one for each packet. But Tier 6, you can't argue that.
Yeah, still another ship for your Admiralty system. Yeah, this is where we get geeky now, talking about the things in the game. Now, we mentioned something earlier. You and James Kerwin have done several projects together. Yesterday Was a Lie, RUR Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yesterday Was a Lie I loved.
Thank you. Very proud of that film.
And Kipley has become like a member of our show.
That's great.
She's, my restraining orders against her have been dropped, so that's good.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's one way of going about it, yeah.
That's been an ongoing joke between her and I. Just because she's so Kipley. I want to write a sitcom called She's So Kipley. But what's the status of RUR Genesis and Jenna and RUR?
I love that project. It's got an incredible screenplay, very, very strong, that is being shopped currently, not incredibly aggressively. It's still in a kind of a packaging phase, but we're hoping to make the feature, and we still want to get the word out about it and have people, go online and, watch the trailer and, spread the buzz about it so that we can keep on having a good shot at getting financing for the feature.
And we do. We recommend people checking it out.
RURfilm.com.
By the end of every convention, I'm quoting that entire thing along with you because we have it playing at our booth. Oh, God. I'm sorry, I just heard it in my head.
Thank you.
It was, 2 years ago you popped your head and you were like, do I hear my own voice?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
How funny.
And my fiance was sitting by the curtain, and she jumped about a foot because you were right. It was so funny.
That's funny.
And
That's
she just
funny.
saw you
Wow.
not long ago at the Mohegan Sun at the convention there.
Oh yeah, that was a great convention. I not to turn this back to the coalition, but can I tell you something really super, super cool about that?
Of course, please.
Well, tell me, where are you guys based? Are you based in Connecticut?
No, she lives in Connecticut. I'm in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
I'm in California, and Terry's in New Mexico.
I know Terry's in New Mexico. Yeah. Gosh, I hope she's okay.
She made it home safely.
Okay.
She did message us, but she's unable to get online at the moment because she's dealing with her, feeding her dogs and everything else. But she sends her love.
Thank you. Send her my love as well. I love that girl.
Will do.
Thanks. Something really wonderful happened at the convention in Connecticut. I was approached after my talk on the coalition. I was approached by a member of the Connecticut School Board, and she said, "This is so powerful, and your work is so beautiful. We've got to have you do this in Connecticut public schools." So I'm going to go to Connecticut in a couple of weeks and present something to the Connecticut School Board on, or to members of it's the West Haven School Board, and they will be bringing in other members, about the power of pop culture, the power of the messages of Star Trek, the power of the work that we do. And they are looking at they want to put together a statewide program. It would be the first statewide program ever. And against bullying. No state in the country has a statewide program against bullying in their schools. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So we'll see what we can make happen. I mean, there's a lot of things that are, a lot of infrastructure that they'll have to set up. I'm just basically I'm coordinating this. I'm the founder of this campaign. So once we get the experts with the educators, they'll see what they can do, and it's out of my hands. But at least, the fact that we're really working on this, talking about it, wanting to make the world a better place, because if we can implement these strategies, these concepts of infinite diversity and infinite combinations when these kids are young, we really can have a different world in 20 years.
For sure. Real quick, a message for Al. Al, I think we're going to need more ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a great cause. We're going to sell. They're going to sell out very fast. I can feel it.
Thank you.
So we're going to need more ships.
And
thank you. Please spread the word.
That convention's Mohegan Sun. It's funny. I grew up in the town where Mohegan Sun is. So it's funny because my parents worked there. That was their first convention, and they were working at it. They had the best time working at that. And that Mohegan Sun, if people don't know, is a beautiful casino. It's
God, yeah. It's gorgeous.
That sculpture in the middle with the waterfall, with the restaurant with the waterfall and everything. It's something to be believed. Because, every time I go up there, I went up in May to see The Who.
Oh, yeah.
For the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
But
fun.
They had the best time, and they said
it's a great Terrificon is the name of the convention. Mitch Halleck runs it, and they're such a great team. I really like the Terrificon team. Also, to let you guys know, I'm going to be in New Jersey at New Jersey Comic Expo on November 21st and 22nd. And we're going to have a coalition table there as well. So please come by and say hello if you're anywhere near the New Jersey area. Come to New Jersey Comic Expo.
Do you have your schedule through the next couple of months so that our fans can, if you're in their area?
Thank you. This coming weekend, I will be in Long Island for Long Island Who, a Doctor Who convention.
Mike, we have to tell her.
Cool.
What?
We have to tell her, Mike, Long Island.
Oh, the Klingons of Long Island. We're producing a little radio short called The Klingons of Long Island.
And the Klingons are back in time in the 80s, and they get stranded on Earth, and so they adopt the way. So, Kapla, how are you, Lita? It's so good. Would you like some gocht?
Oh, no. Oh, my God, I'm scared. Oh, good Lord. Klingons of Long Island.
The Klingons of Long Island. Well, they have to blend in, and the only radio they got were Professor Haha's old-time Jewish comedy vaudeville hour. So that's...
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And I have more in-jokes in the stuff I've written about Long Island.
So please continue with your schedule. Schedule, please.
No, that's all right. Thank you very much. It's one of those things where we're just I forgot where I even was. Yes, we're doing some great stuff.
This weekend in Long Island.
Scheduled this weekend in Long Island, the 21st and 22nd in New Jersey at New Jersey Comic Expo. And I don't have my schedule really set for next year, but I do know that I will be hosting the one, the only FedCon in Germany.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be hosting that, and
That's fantastic.
Super thrilled. Super thrilled. I do know that I'll be at every creation convention for the 50th anniversary year. Okay. So I'll be at all of those, Great. So I hope you come and see me there.
We'll be seeing you at STLV for sure then.
Yes. Oh, good. Of course. We couldn't miss it. And they would miss us. if we couldn't go, they'd have to reschedule, right? Come on. So, what? No G&T? Stop. Stop, I tell you.
I have to admit that every time I've met you in person, I've just been a babbling fool. I just cannot speak to you. You are such a lovely woman.
Well, I'm sorry, gee.
No, you don't know. The first time Mike saw you at the convention, it took like 5 minutes, and we were like, "It's okay, Mike. Go say hi. It's okay."
One of those, huh? No, thank you.
And this last year, I actually approached the table, said hello, and then after that, I was like, I think I ran away. But
gee, okay. I just thought you had to go to the bathroom. I don't know.
I'm just, I'm very surprised I'm able to hold a conversation with you.
He's the biggest Klingon baby you'll ever meet.
Got it. Okay.
But I do love your work, and it's been great meeting you in person, and great talking with you tonight.
Thank you.
I wish you a lot of luck with your very worthy charity.
The links will be on our webpage with the interview.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate this, you guys. Once again, thank you for your support of Pop Culture Hero Coalition. It means a lot. And I hope you buy those ships. Go out and get yourself a Mirror Runabout and a Mirror Guardian Cruiser.
Well, I'm not joking when I say this. I'm going to say this in the interview so that you know, Mike, Thursday, about a half an hour before the launch, send me a message so that I leave work, go home for a couple of minutes and do it, and then go back. Because you know me once. Because you know I'll forget.
Okay, boys, we don't want to have everyone have to have your schedule, but
no. Well, I know. I'll get so wrapped up in work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it, and this is going to help a lot of people. So thank you for helping us help them.
Of course, anytime. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
If you want to talk about what you're working on next, whether it's a project or whether it's something for this charity, just let us know. We're always glad to have you.
Thanks. Astoundingly, there are a few things we didn't get to talk about, so I love that. But for now, yay Star Trek Online, and yay this Groupies Coalition fundraiser. We appreciate it more than we can say. So thank you so much, Star Trek Online, and thank you, G&T Show.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Our pleasure. Thank you. Go ahead and take us out, Nick.
And we want to thank the lovely Chase Masterson for joining us, and what a great conversation. And Mike?
Kapla!
Oh, dear.
And Joe Lantro.
Dabo!
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5 Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Rathor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. Put a mini skirt on my old man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Gonna travel to new worlds. Beam on down and meet some green girls. Gonna see what we can see. A fancy-free galaxy. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Come and take a tour with me. There'll be no cons or Kobe.